So Russell Westbrook's verbal exchange with a fan, a Clippers fan, goes viral. And it goes viral mainly because the Clippers were playing bad. They were losing to the Nuggets. End up losing to the Nuggets by 9 or 10 points, damn near double digits, with no Jokic and no Aaron Gordon or Jamal Murray. And Reggie Jackson, former Clipper, along with other former Clipper, DeAndre Jordan, had wonderful games, unbelievable games. Reggie had 35. DeAndre Jordan had 21 and 13 and 5 assists. I'm just, you heard me rant. If you watched my video previously, you can go back and watch that. But man, that is an utter embarrassment to me. You've got to be better. You've got to find a way to be more more competitive. You got to find a way to, win a game like that, especially with 4-star players on the floor. And you're definitely the way more talented team. And then on top of that, you're at home, which is the reason why I think the fan that Russell Westbrook got into it with, of course, Skip Bayless comes to mind, because when we talk about Westbrook, the first thing that comes to mind is West Brick. And that's something that, Skip Bayless is made famous by, initiating, saying multiple times on his show, and it's stuck. You know what I'm saying? He's even had issues with, Russ's wife. Russ's wife went back and forth with Skip Bayless, about that situation and how she didn't like it and she didn't feel like the disrespect was, warranted. And, with that being said, it's true. Russell Westbrook doesn't deserve that, to me. But at the same time, whatever that fan said, I'm pretty sure Westbrook came out of that fan's mouth, because I don't know. You couldn't hear everything that's being said. But the simple fact is this. I mean, your team is playing bad. The Clippers were playing horrible. And losing in a situation like that to a team that's that depleted, full of, with guys out, and you're not even, it looks like the Clippers are not even competing, what I'm saying, or have that sense of urgency. And, fans are going to get upset about that. And as as a player, as Russell Westbrook, he has to understand that's what fans are going to do. Fans come there and pay their hard earned money. They get to go there and say what they want to say. If they're not putting hands on you, if they're not, calling you like the word or something like that, or something of that nature, it really, you got to just let it all go, what I'm saying, because you've been in the league long enough to know, Russ, that people are going to say what they want to say. And that's just the way it is. You can't stop people from having an opinion, just like nobody can stop you from having an opinion if you was a fan and watching, them play. So, I mean, it goes hand in hand, and, it comes with the territory. You're making millions of dollars. You got to knock down free throws. Russ, went to the free throw line and airballed a free throw, and then he misses the second one, typical, of his career. He's had moments like that before. And as great as Russ has been, as great as Russ is still as a player and has been throughout his career, the biggest knock on him was, he's the worst free throw shooter. He's the worst free throw shooting and 3-point shooting point guard probably ever. And that's not a good, recipe for, success in regards to winning championships. Because if you put him on the free throw line at the end of a game, you more likely know he's probably going to miss 1 out of 2. If he makes 2 out of 2, the heavens will open up and it'll be a blessing, but you don't really expect it coming from him. And from the 3-point line, you hold your breath and you just hope that, maybe he finds a way to knock the shot down. But if he doesn't, you're not surprised, because he's like 29%, I think, from the 3-point line. I think last season he was. This year he might be doing a little bit better, but probably not much. But this is my point is, Russ should understand. He already knows. He's been in this league long enough to know people are going to say what they want to say. You can't feed into it. The more you feed into it, you're taking your superpowers away and giving them the power. You're giving the fan the upper hand by getting under your skin, the fact that they can draw your attention like that. And you're the superstar and the fan is just a regular guy. You see what I'm saying? I wouldn't give nobody the upper hand like that and feed into it, because it's just a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? You've been in the league long enough to know that fans are going to act like this, react this way, especially when they're frustrated, when you're losing and you're losing to a team you're supposed to beat, and you're not playing with a sense of urgency, or you're not playing with the desperation that you should when you're less than 500 team. And, I don't really fault that Clippers fan for really saying saying what he had to say because, that's how he felt. And if that's how he felt at that time, you can't discredit that. I mean, that's how he feels. And whatever he said to Russ was, I'm not going to say it was warranted, but at the same time, maybe it was just a fan saying something to light a fire under Russ a little bit more and, under the team or, light a fire under the team or something like that, So, you just got to take stuff like that with a grain of salt. If it was me, Russ, like I said, you've been in the league long enough to know how this goes. So you can't let every little thing get to you because it just shows weakness on your part. It shows that your emotion, your sensitivity is coming out a lot more than it should be when you've been in the league about 10, 15 years and you should know better. So, I mean, that goes right there. But I mean, I understand from the fan standpoint of how the frustration was there looking at a Clippers team who got all 4 of their star players and the Denver Nuggets don't have any of their star players. And they have people coming off the bench like DeAndre Jordan in the starting lineup dishing out 5 assists and getting 21 and 13. It's just not a good look. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it's the most embarrassing loss the Clippers will have this season, I believe, because I mean, I just don't even know how the Clippers lost that game. I mean, Kawhi, had 31 points. He could have shot a little bit better, I guess. I mean, but, it's to the point now where I don't blame Kawhi. He was a little selfish that night because he hasn't been selfish this whole time. He's been deferring this whole time. So for any fan out there that said Kawhi was shooting selfishly, well, I mean, he should because he's been the one that's deferred the most this whole time. And everybody's been wondering why. And, it's because he's trying to be a team guy. He wants to win more than just have stats. And now that he goes out and have stats and plays, I thought he played well, honestly. I thought he played really good, you know what I'm saying? But of course, it didn't result into a win like Kawhi and me and the rest of the NBA world, fans would have wanted, it to turn into. But I mean, regardless, he to me, he had a good game. And, like I said, the rest of the big 4 didn't. It was a very just bad look as a team. The James Harden thing, I'm pretty much about over it. I was over it really before it started. But now I'm really getting a little bit more irritable by the situation by the minute because I just don't see, what that's going to entail, long term for them in regards to success, and you got players like Terrence Mann, he comes in and gives energy and plays hard when he's in there. But, I could just tell like, he's going to play hard. He's going to do that. But Terrence Mann should be in the game a lot more. I personally said, about it was a year ago before they even got Russell Westbrook, Terrence Mann was playing good as a combo guard, for the Clippers. He was playing good with Kawhi and PG. They already have chemistry because they've been around each other for a while, and they like Terrence Mann. They believe in him, and what he did a couple years ago in that Utah series really opened up, Kawhi and PG's eyes to what his potential could be, and growing with him was something that I feel like the Clippers should have been doing, and allowing his growth to blossom is what they should be doing, not adding players to the team that could help the Clippers but also could hurt them more than help them. And like I said, Russ has played good for the Clippers. I'm not saying he played bad or anything. Like, he's played bad for the Clippers since he's been there because he's played pretty good for the most part. But it's just that when you bring in all these extra pieces and all this other stuff, and it just makes it difficult. Now, Russ, like I said, I'm all right with that one, but the James Harden thing, I'm still not okay with it because I just don't see how this team is going to flourish, going forward with James Harden being the quote unquote the system, because like I said, you took away a lot of defense on your team, and now Kawhi and PG is going to have to make up for those defensive efforts. Whereas before they were asked to do that, but there were other guys to do the dirty work for them at times where they can, save, Kawhi and PG could save, some of their energy for their offense. And that's going to be a problem with the Clippers long term that I think a lot of people don't see. And, before you're quick to say, a player's not playing well, you got to look at the system the way it is. The system is not built for Kawhi and PG to really dominate the way they used to and win games. The system is built now for, 4 guys to have about maybe 15, about 20 points apiece and, distribute the wealth between the other guys on the bench and win collectively. That's the way the system is built now, with James Harden being put into play. When Russ was there, when it was just Russ, right before they made James Harden trade, it was a little bit different because it was built around Kawhi and PG still, where they can dominate and Russ just kind of, get them, find them in their spots, feed off their energy and score when the opportunity presents itself for him. But now that you add James Harden, now it's like an extra person, an extra body, an extra ball handler, an extra ball dominant person. So it takes away from, it's only going to take away from the greatness of Kawhi and or PG, through games. Some games you'll see Kawhi look great. Some games you'll see PG look great. And then they'll go back to having 8 to 15 points in a game. Like I think that game, Paul George, 2 for 13, he didn't really score that well. But I mean, when you looked at how the game plan was, it just looked like, like I said, it just looks like take turn basketball. One night is Paul George night, give him a lot of shots. And some nights, one night is Kawhi Leonard's night, give him a lot of shots. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's no fluidity with that team. And it's not going to be because, like I said, it takes time to build chemistry, and time is not something the Clippers have because this is the last season. I think they'll all be together. I mean, Kawhi can walk after this year, so can PG. You know what I'm saying? That changes the trajectory of the whole team right there. So, I mean, Steve Ballmer getting this new building and all this other type stuff, I mean, it's fine, but hopefully you have, some superstar players, in that new building, or otherwise it's going to be very empty, honestly, if you ask me. So, but, either way, they got to figure it out. But Russ also got to figure out his issue, too. You can't let fans get to you. You got to play your game and stay in control of what you can control and be the best player of yourself that you can be for this team, and don't let little things get under your skin, because it's bad enough the team is like 2 games under 500 and now you're barking at fans back and forth with them, and it wasn't even like a away team, away type fan. It was a home game, so it was like probably a Clippers fan. You see what I'm saying? More so, and it just doesn't look good. It's just not good, and the loss looks even worse, makes that situation even worse with the fan, which is probably the reason why the fan reacted the way they did, because they saw the Clippers like dwindling and losing and only scoring like 16 points or something like that in the fourth quarter, where I think the Nuggets scored like 32 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, it's an utter embarrassment. But either way, the Clippers got to figure it out, man.